All right, so now I'm just starting to record. This is May 12th, so it's our 7th session. Not that the number matters. So what I'm going to ask everybody to do before we get started is to do a check-in with yourself. And the way that I invite people to check in is to check with their emotional energy, physical tension, mood, emotional stress level, and then how their brain's thinking. So if we start with the first one, the physical tension, excuse me, just scan your body and see what you notice about where you might be holding tension. You know, some of it might be from where you're sitting or what you're sitting on. And yet the fact that there's tension is, you know, it's about what we're carrying, even if it seems like it might be more about what I'm sitting at, how I'm sitting, it's still what we're carrying inside. So look at where there's tension in your body, get a sense of how strong that tension feels from 0 to 10, how tight, how constricted is your breathing. You might take a deep breath and see how comfortable it is to take a really deep breath, or you know, how far can you go before you start feeling the resistance from your muscles, okay? So, and then emotional stress level, that one's pretty self-evident. You know, anxiety, frustration, the anger, somebody mentioned anger and anger releasing, and yet, you know, maybe there's still some residual about anger, or still some tightness, and others of us might be feeling anger. And I don't want to say too much about this, but one of the things about anger is that when we train, we can transform anger into empowerment. Somebody's unmuted, so who can ever mute themselves back up? Thank you. So we can transform that anger into empowerment, and it is seeming to become increasingly important that we're going to need to be empowered. We're going to need to be able to discern what's true. We're going to be able to, you know, as I've been saying all along, like develop more courage and more resilience. And so, you know, many times women bury their anger because, you know, for all kinds of social programming. And so it's a really good time to, you know, let yourself, give yourself permission to feel it so that you can transform it, because that's why it's there. It's there to help give you power and strength to take care of yourself, to protect yourself, to create boundaries, to stand your own ground, to speak your truth. So, okay, just that one quick thing. So, but with emotional stress, so can also feel, we've talked a little bit about heaviness, or we're tired, it's just dragging on. Worry, there's some grief, there's some frustration that people have brought up. So just to pile all that in emotional stress, and see where you are from 0 to 10. Then mood and energy level, also 0 to 10, but in this case, 10 means the best. 10's always the most, but it means the best. So, you know, where's your mood, and where's your energy level? And then the last one is how your brain is working, I guess. One way to think about it are your thoughts. How centered and peaceful and present in your body do you feel? Or how much do you feel like you're up in your head, or you're thinking a bunch of things, or maybe you're, you know, like, I don't know, maybe even feeling kind of impatient, like this kind of pressure, like this pressure in our heads. So those kinds of things. And then rate that from 0 to 10. Okay, so 0 would be being really peaceful, feeling a really strong, grounded sense of inner peace and quiet and contentment. Okay, so there's your rating, how you're doing. And now I'm gonna, for some reason, I'm sorry, I need to change this because I'm not seeing me, and I need to see me. Why am I not seeing me? Huh. All right, well, Okay, I'm gonna have to, sorry, I'm gonna have to put it back in speaker view so I can at least see. I gotta make sure you can see me so that I get the angle right here. Sorry. No. Okay, so I'm backing up. Oops, something fell. Okay, all right, so that's good. Okay, now I'm gonna put it back on gallery view for the recording. So what we're going to see is a phone on the, so maybe I'll, anyway, maybe I'll just send out an audio recording. Anyway, okay, so first one, I like starting with, last time we started with the global reversal. So let's do that again, because that's short and sweet and it'll catch anybody who may be feeling like, you know, pretty reversed. So
Holly, I'm confused. Why aren't we doing a speaker view for the recording? We would want to see you.
I can't, for some reason, I can't see me. And
Okay.
I don't know what's wrong. So that's why I wouldn't, okay?
Yeah,
So now we
I can see you, so I don't know. Okay.
So we're not doing speaker view, we're actually doing gallery view, which is what we should do to be able to see me. But we still can't see me. I don't know what's happening, but now we get to see you. So actually, can maybe
Holly, I can see you.
And I can see you too.
Like, I think we can all see you.
I just can't see me.
You may have your video view off.
I could see me earlier. So
Okay.
yeah, okay. All right, well, thanks. That's good. Okay. Okay, so the global reversal. So either above and below your lips, or if you prefer, your palms together and your fingers tapping at the base of your collarbones. And then make sure you're muted, everybody. And then say aloud, to, if you're in a position to do that, with all my faults, I like this one better, with all my faults, weaknesses, and limitations, I deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway. With all my faults, weaknesses, and limitations, whatever they are, I deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway. With all my faults, weaknesses, and limitations, I deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway. It's really interesting. Those of you who, some of you might know that I'm clairsentient to some degree, which means that I can feel when people I'm working with are shifting, I can feel it in my body. And I'm pretty good at knowing when it's my stuff or when it's not my stuff. So one of the things I'm noticing, and I don't know who this is true for, but what I'm feeling as we're going through this, which I've not really noticed before, is that my body feels like it's really settling in. It's just really interesting how I feel this much more, I actually feel much more grounded in my body. So maybe it is for me, but I just wonder if it's for somebody else. So second part, with all my gifts, strengths, and ability to love, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. With all my gifts, strengths, and ability to love, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. With all my gifts, strengths, and ability to love, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Okay, nice deep breath in through your nose. Hold it, and then drop it out through your mouth. You might want to roll your shoulders around a little bit. Get yourself sort of loosened up. If you're standing up, you know, you can roll your hips around because you're loosening up your lower back by doing that too. So, all right, so next one, we're going to go back. We're going to do the belly button breathing again. This is the one where you put fingertips of one hand, doesn't matter which one you start with, in your belly button. Your other hand goes above and below your thumb and your index finger go above and below your lips, and you're tapping and breathing, closing your eyes. Closing your eyes helps you focus more on your inner landscape and develop more awareness of what's happening within you, which most of us do not. We don't live in a time and a culture that supports us really doing this. So this is a beautiful opportunity to come into greater contact with yourself. All right, and then reverse, same thing with opposite hands. Remember, this is about polarization. We are magnets in 3 different directions. So this is reestablishing the flow that goes down the front of our body and up the back and around and down the front and up the back. And as we connect, even so, as soon as we have the conscious thought, we're more connecting with earth energy. And so that energy just doesn't go down to the bottom of your feet. That energy kind of goes into the earth. And as it comes back up, you're kind of bringing energy up from the earth. And then as it reaches the top of you energetically, then you're also opening and bringing in energy from above. But the flow is up the back and down the front. Okay? And then take the hand you're tapping with, make a C clamp with it, and tap above and below your collarbones. Somebody pointed out to me that I was doing this reversed last time. I think I'm doing it reversed now, but I don't think it matters which one of these we do first. Just feeling what's happening inside of you now. This way you can notice these subtle micro shifts and micro movements, micro adjustments. Switch. We might even call them micro relaxations, micro letting go moments, like we drop a notch into being a little more relaxed, a little more quiet, a little more inner centered, which I can feel happening. And then take that hand that you're tapping with, and you're going to take it back to your tailbone and rub up and down on your tailbone. And again, for those of you who are new or those of you who don't know this, this is stimulating the cerebral spinal fluid that flows up and down your spine, that nourishes it and cleanses the spine and the nervous system. That cerebral spinal fluid, when we're stressed, it pools up in the sacrum and it pools up in the ventricles of the brain. I'm going to switch. This is really good for your nervous system. And also grounding, we're rubbing at the base, the bottom of our tailbone, and that's the first chakra. So that's also very grounding, centering, bringing us home within ourselves. Okay, all right, so that's the first one. I want to go, because grounding, empowering, all the things I said earlier, we're going to go and we're going to do the governing central hookup, which is one middle finger in your belly button, the other middle finger just above and between your eyebrows, and you lift up or you push up your forehead skin, you pull up the skin, you pull up your belly button and drop your shoulders, check your knees, make sure they're not locked, and that your weight is evenly balanced between the balls of your feet, your toes, engage your toes, and your heels. In yoga, sometimes we talk about the 4 corners and feeling those 4 corners so that we strengthen our connection with the ground. We strengthen our stance and our standing in our truth. And breathe. You might feel more as we're standing here, the movement of the living energies of the earth coming up through your feet and actually around and within you. We are immersed in the living energies of not only the earth, but the universe. And feeling these earth energies come up and strengthen us and nourish us. And breathe out tension down into the earth. Mother Earth accepts and relishes that out breath the way we get oxygen from the trees. Good. Okay, let's do the opposite side again. So we're switching, pushing up, pushing and pulling up, and relaxing your shoulders, checking your knees, getting balanced equally over your heels and the balls of your feet, and breathing. Okay, and then another nice deep breath. Hold it and drop it out. Okay, now, next one, we're going to do the cross crawl. Remember last time we did it this way, right? We just pulled this energy, and you can be doing it now as I'm doing it. But I want to do the cross crawl tonight because it is one of the energy exercises that's empowering. It's energizing and it's empowering. It's like we call it a march, right? So it has that kind of, I'm here, I'm present, I'm showing up. So you draw your opposite elbow towards your opposite knee. We're going to do this for about a minute. You can do the movements as big as you want them or as little as you want them. You can reach towards the sky like this. Okay, all right. And then roll that one out. Okay, now the next one I'm going to do, I think we did this once, not last week, but this one's a little harder to explain. It is the yin flow, and it's the one where we do the heart. We trace the heart around the front of our chest. So I'll describe it as we go through it. I'm doing it for two reasons. One, because I pair this with something called smoothing around the ears, and that smoothing around the ears sedates the triple warmer. So it sedates that guardian meridian, which has to do with the fight or flight. And some people have brought up being in fight or flight. And as I've said before, we're all in some level of fight or flight by virtue of being hypervigilant. We've been made to be hypervigilant about all kinds of things that most of us have never really thought about. And now we need to do that. We're supposed to do that, to stay safe. So there's this hypervigilance that we're operating in. It's some of that bizarreness, right? So even if we're feeling pretty calm, our nervous system is still activated for all these other things. So we're going to trace that heart 3 times. So this one you have to do standing up. So trace it around, come all the way down the side. You end just below your ribs. Okay. Yeah, good. Okay, so come back up, do it again. Nice big heart. So of course that big heart is sort of, you know, it's sort of circling, if you will, or tracing the part of us that is really open, right? Where we have this openness to the world. You know, on the one hand, we want to maintain this openness to the world, right? We want to maintain this openness to others and to life. And so part of our challenge is you know, continuing, maintaining, growing this openness, which is also really vital for our well-being in these very unusual circumstances, right? So it makes me think of a couple of things that people brought up about the isolation and the challenge and getting tired of that. Okay, so I'm talking a lot. So we did that 3 times. Now what you're gonna do is brush your hands down the front. You're gonna like brush the energy off your body. So it goes all the way down your body and off your toes, all right? I hope you can see me. So we go down like this, off my toes. I'm dropping into ragdoll. And so when you drop into ragdoll, make sure your neck is fully released. And take a nice deep breath down here. Don't go as far as I go. If it is uncomfortable, you know, you go to your own limit only. Take a nice deep breath again. Grab your elbows. Take another nice deep breath. So we are relieving a lot of tension in the back and the upper legs, all the way from the upper legs to up into our head, actually, shoulders. And now keeping your chin tucked into your chest, you're going to curl yourself back up, a nice tight curl, and you're going to make that infinity symbol with your hands. So, or the Celtic weave, what we also call the Celtic weave. And then as you notice, as my arms get, of course you're not watching me, but my arms get to my shoulders, I lift my head and I continue to do that Celtic weave or that infinity symbol all the way over my head. And then I bring my arms down to the side. Okay, so that's the yin flow, correction for the yin flow. Then the smoothing around our ears. Now there's two levels, not quite the right word. I can't think of the word I want, at which we do this. If we're doing this just energetically, you very lightly, like, so if we're doing energy work on the body, it's a very light touch on the body. So the smoothing around the ears is just very light. So you come around, off your neck, off the collarbone, actually off the top of your chest. Just kind of brush off again. Just do this a little bit and see, some of you might be able to notice a kind of tingling sensation in doing this. You might remember you could do this anywhere. You know, nobody knows what you're doing. You do it like this, just like this. Okay, so that's the light one, is the more energetic way of doing it. With pressure, it's more like a massage, right? So it actually gets into the tissues, it affects the blood flow, the muscles, the skin, the fascia, all of that, right? So it's releasing tension, it's releasing more physical tension. All right, the other is shifting energy. So you start pressing your fingers, the pads of your fingers, with as much pressure as feels good in front of your ears. And then as you can see, I'm tracing around my ears, and I need to flip my fingers back so I can pull them down off my ears. So if you see, I'm pulling down. I like to push my ear forward, so the nerves of my ears get some, or the nerve endings around my ears get some stimulation. And then I come down the side of my neck. Actually, that's the trapezius, and it comes down. I go out to the top of my shoulders, push out to the edge of my shoulders, and then I grab my hands. And hold on, take a nice deep breath here, check your knees, make sure they're not locked. And then on the out breath, you can begin to pull those fingers forward. So you're doing a cross massage across the trapezius, down to the collarbone, and shake them out. And we do it one more time, starting at the temples, base of the temples, around the ears, down the skull, the back of the ears, and then picking up the muscle at the base of the jaw, or the base of the jaw, coming down your neck and then out your shoulders, grabbing the trapezius, and just that traction helps release some of the tension here. Nice deep breath. Drop it out. Pull your fingers forward. Shake them out. Okay? All right. Now, the last one, I think it's the last one that we're going to do is the crown pull. And I can sit down for this. So let me adjust myself here. All right. See if, okay. I'm probably going to need to turn the light on at some point. Okay. All right. So the crown pull, I think we did this a couple of weeks ago. And what we do is you start with the pads of your fingers and you put them on the midline of your forehead. You push against your forehead and you pull your fingers. So you're pulling the skin and whatever muscles are between the skin and the skull, and you're pulling your fingers all the way out to the front and top of your ears. And you do that again. Let me change the view. Okay. Do that again. And breathe. This one, this is the crown pull. It's great for headaches. Now I just moved up and now my index finger's at the top of my, my hairline, and I'm pulling across and down to the top of my ears. So this one is really great for headaches. It's really great if a migraine is starting. And it also is when we're feeling, I don't know, kind of overwhelmed, or our brains, what was the word we were using earlier? Like we're just on overload. You know, we're on mental overload. Our brains are processing so much more that before we just kind of took for granted. But they're actually, or I guess I should say we're more conscious of what we're processing, because brains are processing this stuff all the time actually, but being more conscious is more taxing on the brain. So now my baby finger is at my hairline, and I push in and I pull down to the top of my ears. I do that again. Pull down to the top of my ears. And then I go to the middle. So I'm working on these Marmza points. Anybody's familiar with those? Push in and I pull down to the tops of my ears. Push in, pull down. And then my index fingers are at the back of the top of my head. I push in, I pull down and forward a little bit, push in, pull down and forward. And then my index fingers at the top of the back of my head. So I pull forward, or down and forward, I guess. And again, pushing against those ears and stretching them. You can probably feel that soreness. Releasing that. And then to the middle of the back of my head and straight across, or I guess I'm still going down a little bit to my ears, the back of my ears. Do that again. And oftentimes when I do this, I can feel a lot of tingling in my head, especially in the back of my head and my neck when we get to the neck. Now my index finger is at the base of my skull. It's pulling across to the back of my ears. Pulling across to the back of my ears. Good. And now you're going to place your index finger, no, baby finger at the base of your skull on either side of your spine, and you're going to push there and then pull those fingers around to the side of your neck, just to your jaw. Do that again. And actually at your jaw, if you pull all the way to the jaw, you might notice some soreness there along the jaw. And if you ever know, wherever you notice soreness, it's good to kind of give that some attention and help it release whatever it's holding on to. So the middle of your neck, the middle of your neck, and pulling around to the side, just to that trapezius muscle or where it begins to join the neck. Again, the middle, and around. And now your thumbs are going to go lower, not your thumbs, your index fingers, and you're going to push in. So there's the low part of your neck and the upper part of your shoulders, and it almost feels like you roll around to the sides here. And do it one more time. Roll around to the sides. And bring your hands down, shake them out. All right, so I want you to stop, take a couple of deep breaths, and use these moments to check in with yourself. See what you're noticing now. You might even just have a pause to feel once again the comfort of being in touch with yourself in this deeper, more inner focused way. Coming home to ourselves, home to the place within, home to our access to our souls. It is from this movement to within that we actually expand into the universe as well. But it is so good to get to know this inner landscape. Like, to me, the inner landscape is like, how does it feel when my belly's relaxed? How do I feel? What do I notice when my jaws are dropped and open? And my eyes and ears are more relaxed. And my toes. Perhaps I can notice even my organs. Certainly my heart. How much space does it feel like there's around my heart? What do I notice about my stomach? My spleen maybe, or my gallbladder. Kidneys, my bladder, my intestines. my gut. Perhaps I can give a moment of attention to all the healthy bacterial colonies within my gut. Thanking them even, maybe. I never thought of that before, but thanking them for creating the healthiness inside. Thanking them for this experience, even though we're mostly totally unconscious of it, but this experience of collaboration and cooperation, right? This symbiotic kind of together we grow more beautiful and healthy together. Just like all of us tonight together in this group, just like what is in most, I mean, all of our hearts and most of the hearts of people everywhere in the world, people wanting to grow together in love and peace and justice and joy. All right. All right, so now we're going to shift into tapping. We'll pretend we have a lot of time here as we do this. So I invite each of you to go to inside yourself. What is the aspect that is the most upsetting? You know, what is the thing that you want to focus on? Is it, agitation from something? Is it the confusion? Is it frustration? Is it feeling tired? Is it feeling overloaded, overwhelmed, exhausted? Is it feeling that loneliness, that sense of almost that physical, not soul level, but deep level of missing connection, right? Is it grief? I think those are many of the things that have been mentioned tonight. Is it fatigue? Is it sadness, the sadness of what's happening in the world? Is it that uncertitude? Is it fear? The virality of fear. Is it disharmony and upsetness around disharmony? So everybody's, got the idea. And so feel whatever it is for you, invite you to feel it in your body. We let ourselves feel it in our body. Notice where the tension is, where pain might be, where upset might be. It's where it feels like it's inhabiting that experience of sensation or the emotion of it. I just went through lots of emotions, but all of that helps us to really release, if you will, or transform or rebalance this energy so we can use it for our highest good. All right, so we're going to start with the tapping, rubbing at the sore spots. And again, I am going to repeat these, I'm going to say these phrases. You can repeat them out loud or quietly. And it appears now that I always kind of end up having a stream of things come through. So, bear with me with that and just try and feel or be open to that when it's too much to repeat. So even though I'm feeling all this emotion, all this sensation or charge, and you can give it a name or you can just feel it, I want to love myself and feel better now. Anyway, no matter what. no matter what. I choose to feel better now in this moment. I choose actually to feel the most lovely, the most whole, the highest vibration, the most balanced, the most loving and centered, whatever it is that works for you, that I can feel now. That's my choice. That's what I choose for myself. Right? So even though I'm carrying all of this, even though I'm being affected by all of this, even though I'm having to adapt to all of this, and it is hard. It's been hard. Sometimes it feels easier. We talk about this kind of wave, right? So we might all be at different places in this wave right now. But the wave certainly includes ways it's taxing and challenging. So even though I'm experiencing all of this, I am going to love myself and feel better now, no matter what. Okay. And then up to the top of your head, and either tapping or holding your hands here as you begin to focus on the divine in which we are immersed, in which we are more than swimming. It's as if the divine is what fills up, actually. I think it's true. The divine is what fills up all the space, right? We are 99.99999% space. We are 99.9999% universe and divine. How's that? I like that. So feel that, and you might associate colors, or colors might come to you that are associated with the particular relationship that you have now, or the particular energies from the divine, from the universe that will most help you now. Let yourself open and trust. Just open. Ask for help. Very simply, please come to my aid now. Please assist me now. In deep gratitude, I ask for your pure-hearted assistance now. And then coming to your eyebrows, all these feelings, all these emotions on the side of your eyes, all these feelings and emotions, all these sensations, all this hypervigilance right here, the limbic part of my brain, underneath. All these emotions, all this, the stress of this. There's benefit. Yes, there's ways that we're growing, ways that many of us are deeply appreciating this change. And yet there's the stress and the strain and the uncertainty. And when we step out of the moment, there's apprehension and even fear, of course. Above your lips, all this charge, all these emotions, all this sensation, this tightness, maybe this difficulty breathing, this tension across the back of my shoulders. Good. All of this stuff that I have to deal with now that I didn't have to deal with, you know, the disappointment, you know, the things that I was looking forward to that, you know, I can't do now. the things that might not ever be again. Like, it's just really so much. And I think it's a good time for me to say that I encourage people to bring this stuff up, not to dwell in it, not to be undone by it, of course, but to release it. You know, so much of this is going on unconsciously. We bring it up, then we can release what we didn't even know we were carrying. So all this charge from this bizarre and strange and weird time and experience. Not to mention, it's the coldest spring we've ever had, right? So we all need warmth. We're all missing the warmth and the sun on the sides, just all of it. Really, I didn't embrace myself for all that I'm navigating. Like, it's really pretty incredible. I'm doing a really good job, really. Like, I'm kind of proud of myself, or maybe want to acknowledge, I want to take a moment here. This is a place that is associated with guilt, spleen meridian. But so it's a great place to stop or keep tapping and acknowledge yourself, acknowledge, you know, this vessel that helps your being interact in the world, and acknowledge like how good a job it's doing, how well it is you are carrying yourself, taking care of yourself, loving yourself and loving others, you know, your loved ones, the people closest to you, your friends, your community, the world, right? Just love you for what you're doing and what we're all doing together and what we're doing for each other. And how, despite all the disharmony, there is a level at which people are coming together. People are realizing, hopefully, people certainly are realizing how damaging polarization is. And it may need to get worse before more people recognize it. But here's to all the stepping out of polarization. Here's to all the stepping out of judgment and the stepping out of blame and the opening up to loving acceptance of ourselves and others. And then your wrists. Opening up to this world of possibility. All the possibilities that are here for us really to truly become empowered in our life and to create a life that's a life we want to live. I've been noticing a little bit about how much I got swept away myself in living a life that was one where I could, I don't know, achieve my goals, where I could do what I needed to do or what I thought I wanted to do, and not realizing how it took me away from some of what was most important to me, and how much I'm appreciating that return of home. You know, I'm always talking about feeling at home within myself, within ourselves, but feeling at home, feeling at home in the natural world, and strengthening in whatever different ways we need to do, strengthening that feeling of being at home with everyone that we love. Let me strengthen my connection to everyone. One of the things that I believe is that no matter what's going on, why it's going on, the fact that we're all going through this, and I may have said this before, we're all aware that we're all going through it together. 190 countries in the world, people are in shelter in place. Like, that's over 7 billion people who are all having such a similar experience. And that is uniting us energetically. It's forming these stronger strands of the web of connection circling around the world. And I think that that's incredible. I think we barely yet know the power and the beauty and the possibility that's going to come from that, from this. So feeling that connection, feeling our connection to ourselves, to our soul, our higher self, feeling in our hearts our love for the people in our lives and those we're closest to, and feeling love and appreciation, right? That makes me think of the deep appreciation, whatever in Lisa and your father and your experience with him as he is beginning to ready to transition into a new reality, a different reality. Appreciation for everybody's hearts that are more activated for the good of the world. I mean, it's profound. It's absolutely profound. Let's not get lost in the disharmony and the disconnection and the polarization that comes from people not knowing how to deal with their own fear. Let's focus on the strengthening of love. And by focusing on the strengthening of love, we build our own resilience, our own emotional immune system. We boost our own health. It may be the single most important thing we do to keep ourselves healthy. The nocebo effect. Right? Choosing love. Choosing resilience. Choosing courage. And choosing it all with a profound sense of inner peace, no matter what. Might want to keep your hands on your high heart if that's where you have them. Open your eyes if you're ready. Check in with yourself. What do you notice about how you're feeling now? And mark this state, this energetic state that is within you everywhere, from the cells of your body, from inside the cells of your body, all the way out through your energy field, right? It's in the cells of your body, that environment shifts and heals and smooths out the DNA. So even the DNA replicates from this place of peace. And we each are all stronger for this experience that we have shared together. We are each all stronger for the heart and the energy that we brought together, for the temple of light, if you will, the circle, the women's circle that we all created here. And feel that in your cells, feel it in your bones, like deep in your bones. And feel it out through the field, so that 4 feet out at least, your field is bright. You know, the colors of your aura are bright, light. In your heart, the radiance of your heart, which extends, we don't really know how far it extends. It extends 60 feet, some people say, probably more. And when we are in this place of coherence, of resonance, the rippling out of this coherence, this loving coherence, spreads itself throughout our space, throughout our homes, our land, our neighborhoods, our communities. Mark this in the memory of your cells, in the memory of your bones, in the memory of the consciousness in which you are immersed. And give thanks to yourself for giving yourself the gift of this honesty with yourself, this openness with yourself, this willingness to release and let go and open and trust and connect with the divine, connect with each other. Gratitude for every being on this earth who is leading more from their heart to contribute to growing a world in which we all can thrive. Right. Okay. So that's it. For tonight, want to thank you. I'm going to end the recording now.